So we sort of talked about the presenting problem now. So I sort of want to talk about your family and see if there's any similar patterns that are going on there. So how about you start with your grandparents?
My grandparents?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want me to tell you about them?
So are they still alive?
Yep. My grandma and grandpa on my dad's side are still alive, and my grandma on my mom's side has passed away.
Okay. So both of them on your mom's side have passed away?
Just my grandma on my mom's side. So my grandpa is the one that's alive.
Okay. Do you recall your mom telling you what it was like living with their parents?
My mom was the oldest girl, and there were 11 kids, so it was pretty crazy. And her dad was like gone at work all the time, so it was mostly just her mom taking care of 11 kids by herself, which was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So all the kids got a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Your mom had to take on a lot too.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So with Dad being gone, do you think there was ever any like communication about like household chores, stuff like that?
I think she just did it all. I don't know if they talked very much.
Yeah.
I know that they had a good relationship. Like my grandpa misses her a lot, but yeah, I don't think there was a lot of like balance in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's also like the generation too. But.
Right. Huh. So your mom, by seeing all these patterns, was she similar in the way the household was organized with you guys?
Yeah, like she literally does all the chores, and there's not like a ton of communication between her and my dad. She usually talks to me.
Yeah.
Her and her mom are really close.
Yeah.
They like talk every day about things that are happening. Like her mom, she's a really good support to her mom.
Yeah. That's interesting. So I'm curious to see if you see a pattern going on there. Grandma never really talked to Grandpa about anything, and Mom saw that too, so she would never talk to your dad about things. So I'm curious to know if you see that pattern going on with your relationship right now.
Yeah, that could definitely be like part of it. Yeah, I just didn't like see that a lot growing up, that like husband and wife communicate.
Right.
Like negatively or positively.
Yeah.
So it's just not something I anticipated being part of my relationship.
Yeah.
And
her family, it seems like the wife just kind of takes on most of the responsibility. And I feel like my family was a little bit different, and so we've kind of had some conflict. She does a lot kind of without talking to me about it, because I think she's trying to be helpful, but that's kind of hard to, like, that's where we could fight a lot, is she's doing stuff that I don't know about. And like for me, I'm like, I want to be in on those discussions and know what's going on there. And so like I said, I don't think that she like means to leave me out, but like she does. Like we don't really talk about stuff, and I always feel like I'm in the dark.
Yeah. Well, if it's something that has been passed down through 3 generations, it's pretty hard to just realize that this is what's going on and all of a sudden change, right?
Yeah, like it doesn't even cross my mind to think like, hey, would you mind if I put this picture up here? It's just like my mom ran the house, my grandma ran the house, and so I just figured that that's what I would do. And so then when we're fighting about it, I'm like, why are we even talking about this?
Right.
She gets really frustrated too, because like, I don't know, I think there's a good example. She doesn't have a lot of she has good communication with her mom, but her parents don't. And so I think she doesn't like to fight, because she doesn't understand like why we even need to have that conversation.
Right. So you mentioned that your family is a bit different. You sort of explained it a little bit, but could you explain a little further?
Yeah, so my mom, both my parents worked, and so and her mom was a stay-at-home mom and her dad worked, and so that's a little bit different, I think, in my family, just because my mom couldn't be the only person in charge, because she had to work too. And so I think there was a lot more, I mean, that comes with a whole other set of problems, right, of like wow, like how the kids, we were by ourselves a lot.
Right.
But like my mom and dad were pretty balanced on decisions because they had to be, because no one was like at home all the time to take care of stuff. So they had to work a lot more on like coordinating things to make sure things worked out. And so
So there's two opposites here. Your family never really talked about anything. They just sort of assumed things were going to be done some way. And with yours, it seemed like there was more communication because of the situation that they were going through.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Woohoo! It was great.
Thanks, guys.